Hello and welcome to another edition of the Big 12 Report presented by Dr. Pepper. I'm Wendell BARNHOUSE, Big12Sports.com correspondent alongside this week's co-host, Cassandra Novi.
Well, Wendell, for safety and competitive reasons, the bats used in baseball and softball games are regulated. Here's a piece about how the Big 12 tests those bats before softball games.
The use of metal bats in baseball and softball has increased concerns about player safety. The so-called exit factor was reduced in baseball bats 2 seasons ago, and in softball, bat testing is a regular occurrence.
We tested each team's bat prior to the first game of the series, probably about 2 hours before game time. And in the Big 12, we kept the results confidential. We just let a respective coach know if they had a bat that failed, but we did not confiscate the bat. And a report was made by me to the conference office.
In softball, with the pitcher and corner infielders sometimes within 30 to 40 feet of the batter, the velocity of a batted ball becomes a safety issue.
The game's in good shape right now, I believe, but at the same time, I think we could foresee a big problem in it. And we have seen some inconsistencies. We've seen some bats brought onto the field that might be a little dangerous for our corner players and our pitchers. So I think it's something that needs to be addressed.
The Big 12, I think, was very proactive in that. And that was exciting to us just from a proactive standpoint and doing things the right way.
How the ball springs off the bat can also be a big competitive factor. Some Big 12 coaches believe that they were at times at a disadvantage when facing teams in non-conference games or the NCAA tournament.
You don't see check swings. There's many check swings going over the fence. You don't see these monster home runs. When you see the swing in slow motion, you're going, that's not a home run swing. So I think before there were teams that were playing with dynamite when the rest of us had firecrackers.
Regulating how much the ball springs off the bat is a delicate balance.
I think with softball, we like the liveliness of the bats. I don't think we wanted to go so extreme that, we went back to the 80s where it was the 1-0 game and you weren't seeing a lot of offensive production, and still though keeping them with the exit speeds where they needed to be for the safety factor. So I like our balance, I like where we're at. I think the coaches have been great in regards of discussing it at a national level and knowing that safety is a #1 priority.
Welcome back, and it's a big weekend for the league this week as we have 4 Big 12 championships happening. We'll first head to the Country Club where we're having the 16th annual men's and women's golf tournaments. Now the men are going to be competing in Whispering Pines, which is held in Trinity, Texas, while the women are up in Lawrence, Kansas at the Lawrence Country Club. Pairings were determined by the latest Golf Week Sagarin ratings that came out April 22nd. On the men's side, Texas is the top seed, while Texas A&M follows at number 2 for the 2nd straight year. The Longhorns are paced by Dylan Fratelli, who recently was named the 2012 co-recipient of the Byron Nelson Award. His teammate, freshman Jordan Spieth, just wrapped up his 2nd PGA Tour event of the year as he finished 41st at the Texas Valero. He is the top-ranked men's golfer in the nation, followed by Fratelli. The men will play 72 holes with 2 rounds on Friday. For the women, Texas A&M is the top seed, followed by number 2 Oklahoma State. The women will play a total of 54 holes over the course of 3 days. Kelsey Vines is pacing the Cowgirls as she is ranked 21st in the nation. Teams will consist of 5 golfers, and the lowest 4 scores per round from the designated 5-player team will be used.
Well, thanks, Cass. That's a look at the golf championships this weekend. As far as tennis is concerned, the Big 12 championships in men's and women's tennis will be held in College Station this weekend. The women's competition will get started Thursday, while the men will start Friday at Texas A&M's George P. Mitchell Tennis Center. Oklahoma is the top seed in the men's bracket, while Texas Tech is the top seed for the women. It's the first time in Big 12 history that a team other than Baylor or Texas will be the #1 seed in the women's championship. Texas A&M, which is seeded 5th, is the defending men's champion, while Baylor is the defending women's champion. The Lady Bears are seeded #2 and are seeking their 7th consecutive Big 12 title.
Well, from the tennis courts, we're going to head over to the river where the Big 12 Rowing Championship enters its first year as a fully supported conference championship. The event will take place on the Oklahoma River in Oklahoma City. Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma, and Texas are the 4 league members who sponsor women's rowing teams. Action begins at 9:40 a.m. on Saturday. Texas has won all 3 rowing championships held since the 2009 campaign. Well, that's a look at the 4 championships that are going to be happening this upcoming weekend. Wendell, what do you have for shout-outs?
Well, you know, it had to end sometime. Baylor's incredible winning streak was stopped at 24 games Tuesday night with a 4-1 loss to Texas San Antonio. The Bears, though, are 18-0 in Big 12 play and have a commanding 5.5 game lead on second-place Texas. Now, you might have heard that the winning streak has kind of coincided with the team finding a mascot. A beaver, probably from the nearby Brazos River, showed up in the parking lot at Baylor Ballpark about a month ago. The Baylor players started feeding him acorns, and the team started its winning streak about that time, so the beaver, and now a stuffed toy beaver in the dugout, is the unofficial mascot. Now, when a Baylor player gets a big hit, the dugout yells, "Feed the beaver!" Now, considering that rallying cry is heard a lot, that beaver is going to look a little like Charles Barkley before Weight Watchers. The NCAA men's and women's gymnastics championships were held over the weekend. Oklahoma finished second in the men's competition, while the OU women finished 7th, missing the Super 6 finals by just 0.2 of a point. Now, the Sooners had 12 male gymnasts earn All-America honors. Jake Dalton won the all-around and became the first gymnast in school history to claim 6 All-America honors in one season. The Big 12 had 8 All-Americans in women's gymnastics, with Missouri's Rachel Updike earning first-team honors along with Oklahoma's Megan Ferguson, Bree Olson, and Sarah Stone. Ferguson was a first-team All-American in 2 events, balance beam and floor exercise. Well, Cass, before we wrap things up this week, I want to remind everyone that next week I'll be in Phoenix for the Big 12 coaches meetings, and we'll be posting interviews on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with a lot of the people who will be out there. We have plans to interview the athletic directors, football coaches, men's and women's basketball coaches, and a number of other collegiate officials that will be out there in conjunction with those meetings. So keep an eye for that, and we will be posting information regarding those interviews on our social media outlets.
Well, in the meantime, you can hit us up on Facebook or find us on Twitter. For Wendell Barnhouse, I'm Cassandra Novi, and we'll see you next week.